and welcome to Profiles in Health and Wellness, a brand new podcast. This is episode 1, the maiden voyage, the inaugural episode that's going to kick off what is sure to be a life-changing, somewhere down the road podcast. My name is Marney Gellner. With me is Eric Nordquist. Hello, Eric.
How you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thanks. I'm happy to be doing this. Happy to be on this journey with you.
Yeah, this is sweet. Via the iHeartRadio app, of course. I work for KFAN, part of the iHeartMedia family.
Put it out there.
And for the most part, I'm sure most people listening to this have heard us sing the praises of, regale the successes that we have had, different successes, but similar in the regard that it all leads back to Profile by Sanford. And given these unique times and how Profiles had to change the way that they do business and work with people, you know, clearly on the top of mind, staying healthy mentally and certainly physically, we decided to start this podcast. Now, you're the star, of course. I yield to FSN's finest, but I'm happy to be the producer and at least get to chat with you this time around.
Well, let's sort of set the stage of who we are. First of all,
we're getting deep right out of
our
the gates.
listeners. Well, I mean, we just can't assume that everybody listening to this podcast knows Marno and Nordo. So
I thought everybody in town listened to 9 to noon. And
most people know 9 to noon.
Talk about a tough realization.
Your nickname is Nordo. You are the producer of the Paul Allen Show that runs from 9 until noon on KFAN, the number one sports station in Minnesota and top 5 in the country. I know it's very successful. How long have you been the producer of said show, Nordo?
Yeah, I just celebrated last month my 7th anniversary with iHeartMedia.
Happy anniversary!
Yeah, no, it was sweet. And I celebrated it from my couch at my house. Just because...
Not with cake.
Certainly not.
You don't like cake.
No, another time we can go down that road in terms of sweets and all of that. But yeah, I've been here for 7 years, and I've produced Paul Allen, or PA show, for 6.
Okay.
More than 6. It was February of 2014 when I was asked to step in, do the audition week, and he liked me enough to keep me around. And from there on out, managing the mood swings, roller coaster of everything related to Minnesota sports and how we handle that on air. That's been my bit ever since, and it's been an absolute blast.
You're a radio guy. You've been in the business for a while.
Yeah, I have, and it's, you know, that's one of the unique things about the fan is the radio business is fun, and you know, there's competition out there and such, and you know, on air you want to be the toughest guy in town and all that, but the radio business in itself is a community, and once you're in it, you want to stay in it because it's a blast if you have a passion for it. And I've been here, as I said, 7 years. I'm the newest guy in this building with the fan.
That's crazy.
By 10 miles. And
unbelievable.
So you think about the equity of PA, and then also Dan Barrero, the Common Man, and the morning show since maybe 2000. So, you know, a lot of these guys are running 2 decades plus, and I'm just cute little producer Nordo just trying to make it to 8.
NKOTB, baby.
Absolutely.
Myself, just for folks to have a little background, I work Marney Gellner, Fox Sports North. I've been with them for 17 years, working Timberwolves. Wow. I know.
17
and a half.
So that was, you must have been in high school at the time.
I was a toddler, actually.
Yes, that's right.
I started in October 2002.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so
you were entering
17
peak
and a
Wolves
half
territory.
Years. Yeah, I was there for the 2004 run to the Western Conference Finals.
Unbelievable.
That was my second season, and I had no idea that those would be the glory years. At the time, I just thought that's what you do.
So when you got into it 17 years ago, like I had a dream in high school. So I'm 35. So I actually kind of started over in life in my mid-late 20s where it was slip in the shower, hit your head on the porcelain, and you're like, oh, I want to try radio. But I had dreamed of doing it. The idea was I wanted to host my own music show. And I've always loved sports, so clearly that's what I'm doing now. But, you know, the idea of getting to put your big opinions out there and tell your story in the form of music, which is now sports for me. But for you, was it just always the passion for sports? You just, the allure of that, in ways, a lot of access that you get that me, the rube, the viewer, I never get.
You know, that's true.
What drew you to that?
It was not my dream. It was my dream was.
Oh, sorry to bring this up. It's gonna get emotional. Episode 1.
It's painful, but my dream was to write for, and also I didn't like to say it, but star in SNL.
Oh, really?
That's where I was.
You fancy yourself a funny gal.
Yeah, that might be why it didn't work out. That might be why I've been at FSN for 17 and a half years. I'm entertaining people, I like to think.
Absolutely.
Through the sidelines. But it was not my longtime goal. I was a huge jock. I played 4 sports in high school, 2 sports in college, and I have always been around sports. So yes, it was a natural place for me to land. I sort of got jobs because it was part of my major, and while I figured out how to get to SNL or a sitcom, that would have also sufficed. While I was trying to navigate that, these were my jobs. I was the weekend sports anchor at a couple of stations in North Dakota, and then Madison, Wisconsin, and then I landed here. And all the while trying to get to my real job. Like, these were good because they were paying bills and I was getting some experience, but trying to find my real job. And then, I don't know, like 8-10 years into this at FSN, I was like, I had just had the realization, like, I think this is my career.
I think that's your job.
I think this might be it. Well, not that there's nothing better. I just meant like, oh, it kind of dawned on me like, oh, I could do this. Well, I could keep doing this. This is good.
I think it's an interesting realization, though, because, for me, making the change and effectively starting over at age 27 was a difficult pathway for me. But, you're not unique in the regard where you are doing things to, for sustenance and supplements until you get to where you want to be. But then life happens, right? And then, we get deeper down this road with Profile and just kind of how life happens and maybe why this program's been such a success for us. Mm-hmm. But, I just realized one day, I'm in my mid-20s and I'm doing sales. And a lot of people are great at sales. And I was pretty good at it, too. But it was, for me, the artificial transaction of it. It wasn't a passion of mine. And so I realized
You're going through the motions.
I kept chasing, bigger apartment turns into a condo, need to pay bills, girlfriend in the mix, planning for the future. So I was looking more for stability than anything else at the time. And then just kind of how those pathways, would deviate time to time. And then it was like, oh, yeah, no, this is a potential thing. And now here we are. And 7 years into it, I'm happy and all of that. But for you, was it internships that got you in the door? Because the media business is just so weird. It's who you know.
That's right. It's who you know, and it's being in the right place at the right time. I had to
work 9 to midnight, 9 p.m. to midnight while doing a different career that I was in at the time on Darkness Radio.
Oh, jeez, that sounds frightening.
One of our sister stations. I'd be running the board and answering phone calls and learning about the otherworldly paranormal events that are apparently occurring and not occurring on our planet.
Ugh.
So the things that you had to do to get to where you want to be, didn't realize you wanted to be there, but then you were, and now you love it. And here we are 17 years later. I saw you do an interview earlier today with a member of the Timberwolves. That was sweet. It's just you just flip on that switch, and it's game time, and the star shines.
Well, I'm around them every day when we are in a normal world.
Yeah.
I don't get starstruck by athletes. I mean, occasionally, I know when LeBron James is in town. I started and I saw Michael Jordan play in person for the Wizards. Those were big deals. I sort of ears perk up a little bit, but I am in awe of certain actresses or comedians or singers that I love. I will get just starstruck and blah, 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 blah. But athletes, I totally respect them, but that's a blessing because if I did in this job, it wouldn't work out very well. So I'm sort of totally respect your talent, man. You're so good at what you do. It's fascinating, and now let's move on.
I'm glad you put it that way though, because I'm similar. Where the first time I went down to Vikings training camp, and I'm behind the rope, and I'm meeting Adrian Peterson and forgetting to hit the right record button during my first interview.
Legendary
on site,
story,
and just getting torn apart by the corner offices here. But the first time you do that, this is jarring. This is a thing, and you're seeing it. And now it's not either a lack of respect for or an indictment on the athletes, but as you get to know them, hey, these are just guys and gals with the same, traverses and trials and tribulations that we all go through. And so, a cool part about this podcast, too, is, the trials and tribulations, my journey from a weight loss perspective and, what this program has meant to so many people that we hear from because we do some ads on the radio and such, and we talk about it, and we've had success with it and promote it. We're all the same in that regard, which is kind of a cool adventure as we go down the road with this podcast.
Yeah. So that's a little bit about who we are.
Yeah.
Now let's dive into why we found Profile, how we found Profile, how it has helped us in our personal and professional lives. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick break so that you can listen to both of us.
Oh, yeah. And Paul Fletcher from Cities 97.
Paul Fletcher talk a little bit more in a pre-recorded version about this wonderful program.
Hey, it's Nordo for Profile by Sanford. I lost 50 pounds with their weight loss program. They were committed to me, helping me lose the weight, but then also keep it off, create a lifestyle change. And right now, they've been so good about adjusting to the needs of their customers because staying on track, staying healthy in these times, very, very important. Virtual appointments online with the coaches, shipping Profile food right to your door, curbside pickup. There's even an app that'll help you exercise while you're at home. These people care about you and creating that lifestyle change. You need to learn more. Get to profileplan.com. It's Profile by Sanford, profileplan.com.
Hi, it's Marney Gellner here for Profile by Sanford. We're all adjusting to our new routines, and Profile's really helped me with mine. For example, if I'm just having a struggle where I want to snack at night or something like that, I can talk that through over the phone with my coach. We just set up an appointment. No need to even meet in person. I can also do curbside pickup where I call ahead and order my shakes and bars, and I go right to the Eden Prairie store. They bring it out to me. Adjust to your new normal with Profile by Sanford. Visit profileplan.com.
Hey, Paul Fletcher for Profile by Sanford, online at profileplan.com. I just hit a pretty significant milestone. I am officially down 50 pounds. More importantly, I feel fantastic. As we adjust to our new temporary normal, don't let that stop you from getting your health on track or staying on track. Profile does virtual appointments with coaches for members who are stuck at home, discounts on shipping of Profile food right to your door. There's also curbside pickup. And give them a call and ask about the new customized exercise app to help you work out right at home. Profile's a game changer. Find out more at profileplan.com.
I just love listening to my own voice on a recorded
It was smooth.
version. Most people cannot stand their own voices, or you hear it back in recorded form and they're like, is that what I sound like?
Yeah.
And we do that every day.
Well, I
hate watching myself on TV or listening to my own voice.
I can't. I'll listen to myself when I do spots because I want to make sure it's crisp and to the point and get all the bits out there. I can't listen to recorded like if I'm speaking an opinion on the fan.
Oh,
I can't do it.
interesting.
It's nails on a chalkboard.
Interesting.
I cannot under any circumstance listen to myself back. I just don't want to hear the stupid things that I say on the radio every day.
But you may want to listen to this podcast.
Oh, yes.
back. You'll be fine with that. This
Absolutely.
is episode 1 of Profiles in Health and Wellness.
Free iHeartRadio app, by the way. Download it. All your favorite profile-related content at your fingertips at all times.
I've done that already. I use it a lot. Thanks for the tip. Marney Gellner and Eric Nordquist. I think we're going to go with Marno and Nordo.
Marno and Nordo.
Nordo and Marno. Oh, we'll workshop it. Throw it against the wall.
We'll figure it out.
We are both members of Profile by Sanford, and we both came into it totally separately.
Yes.
I did not know you were doing it. You did not know I was doing it. And we didn't see a whole lot of each other, but we intersect pretty regularly,
We
but
thrive in
not
the same
daily.
circles. We get around.
How did you come to know Profile?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Thank you.
And the circumstance related, I was approached by Profile because I was filling in for PA one day, and I was telling a story that was tragic related to an athlete that had some long-term weight-related issues, and his life ended because of health issues prematurely. And so I just kind of went down, and it was sort of sappy, but I got 2 young kids, and they're getting older at the time, and they're running circles around me. And it's just like I come home from doing the radio show, I eat a bunch of food, and then take a nap. Like, you can get into these ruts.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd been in a rut really since around the time my kids were bored, where I'm really good at handling lone wolf related things. And then I enter girlfriend / now wife into the equation. So now I'm good at handling 2 people. And we have these twin girls, and it becomes 4. And so I kind of went down that road on the radio. where I'm just a rudderless ship at this particular point. Like, I just have terrible eating habits. It's impulsive or compulsive. It's big meals followed by long stretches of lethargy and laziness and just not being active enough. I'm on the radio, so I sit literally in the same spot for an excess of 4 hours a day. And so they approached me, told me about the program, and I hadn't known much about it prior to, but then there's that get to know you process, learn more about it. Mm-hmm. Did the consultation at the Maple Grove location with Nancy Jones. She's the store manager and runs everything in Maple Grove, does an awesome job. Love Nancy. And so then I just said, okay, well, let's do this thing. At the time,
you were ready.
Well, that's the thing is you have to be committed to making the change, or at least open to the idea of trying something different. I mean, I've lost 50 pounds using the program. Well, Nordo plus 50 pounds knows there's an issue, but there's a psychological component to it. Again, the ruts, the habits, the convenience, the comfort zones, and all of those associated with it. I'm a strong-willed person, and the human mind can talk you out of so many things. So trying to figure out if you're in that right spot where you're open, you feel like you're ready for the change. And I realized at age 34 at the time, I couldn't just go to the gym for a few weeks and knock this thing off. I mean, the metabolism and all of those things, and then just stay committed to that end of things for a long time. I needed to relearn things that I knew for a long time and just kind of had forgotten. So went down the road. The program was a success. It was amazing how easy it was to start it, to be honest with you. I was so worried. They get you on a regimen of particular foods that they want you to eat. Hey, stay away from these things. And they really do a great job of setting a routine for you. And now I had a routine. So when in doubt, you rely on the routine and you follow the next steps. And for me, taking it in a baby step-by-step fashion was incredibly helpful. The weight started falling off, and now here we are. How did you get involved in it? Because you didn't need to lose 50 pounds, Marnie.
I didn't need to lose 50, but I needed to lose a good 10. And I'm only 5'4", so 10 pounds on a 5'4" woman is noticeable.
You can't tell on TV. I thought you were like 6 feet even.
Yeah, really? Even when I'm talking to those NBA players and they're dripping sweat from their chins onto me because I'm a 1.5 feet shorter.
No, that's true. That's my bad.
People tell me that all the time when they meet me. Oh, I thought you were taller. Like, I don't know. I guess, how do you know when you're looking watching on TV?
Of television.
So I needed to lose probably 10 pounds. I'm actually down about 13, kind of give or take the day, but it's more than 10. And I too was just sort of in a place of like, the pounds just creep on. Even if it's 2 a year, well, after 5 years, that's 10 pounds. And I'm 46, so I'm a good 10 years older than you. My kids are 10 and 12. Your twin girls are 5 years old. My kids are 10 and 12, active. I just I'd gone through like just a long length of maybe 2 years where I'd sort of just slowly been kind of putting it on and maybe gained 10 pounds in 2 years. Not a huge thing, but at the end of it, it's like, ugh, man. Remember when I used to wear those clothes? So I started the day my kids started school, the day after Labor Day. It was Tuesday. Okay. So September, 4th, 5th, somewhere in that first week of September.
It's a month or so after I started, yeah.
And I planned it exactly for then because I didn't want to miss out on anything summer barbecue-wise or
State Fair.
Anything, neighbor having a bonfire, any of it. I wanted to have my s'more and my couple of beers and whatever. I wasn't ready in my mind. I wasn't ready, but I said, you know what? Kids starting school, it's a Tuesday. That's my day. That's my start point. Just however it is that you need to get there mentally, that's step one. And so I knew I was doing it. My husband was super supportive, and he did it too. He did sort of a modified version. And that is very helpful. So I started along with my kids going to school. I just started that day measuring out my salad, figuring out how to have a zucchini for a snack, and just it was a pretty sharp change the first couple of days. But once I figured out like what I could have and looking at my grocery list of, it's not like you have to have that, you have to have that. It's like pick from these 30 things, half of which I'd never heard of, like these vegetables, which was also very eye-opening.
What the heck is edamame?
That's little peas that
No,
you get
I know
at the...
now.
Okay.
I didn't know before.
Oh, okay. Now that one, edamame, I know. My kids know edamame. Come on, Nordo.
I knew Hot Pockets.
It's not Hot Pockets. So yeah, I started in September and have immediately. I think that's part of the beauty of it is the immediate weight loss in the first week. It's like was probably 4 pounds for me, probably greater for you, but that is so reassuring to go. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm getting results. So I was only actually on the weight loss portion of the plan for 2 weeks. And then I moved into the next phase and the next phase pretty quickly, only because I didn't have a ton of weight to lose. But I would say I've lost another probably 1 pound over the last 3 months, every month. Like it's just so I now am in this natural maintenance phase, but it's still working for me because it's not something that I feel like, oh, I need to be done. I'm done with the diet. It's not something I'm going to be done with. It's like I've learned how to be a little bit better and I still have pizza. I had pizza last night from Size Bar and Grill in Chaska because they have the best pizza locally for us. I can have that because I had a pretty smart lunch and I'll probably have a smart dinner today or whatever. I'm not deprived. I have nachos. I just don't have them for breakfast.
Yeah. And you've made it to that stage. And on the front end of it where you first start the program, that's where the most weight loss is always going to happen because that's where you are truly recalibrating your body.
Of course.
And what I love about how Profile does it is it's not the grand scheme goal like that you're thinking about every day. I want to be down 50 pounds. I mean, it kind of starts where I want to have just a great day. And then I want to have...
Or even
2 or 3.
a great breakfast.
Absolutely.
Like sometimes you need to even step it back.
Yeah, and the simplicity of it, again, once you decide that you're ready and you're comfortable with the idea of asking for help, the support that you get from them at Profile is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I had a similar experience where, wow, this first week's incredible. And then, okay, let's have another great week. And so for me, versus trying to look off into the horizon at what appeared to be this unattainable, pedestal.
Yeah, it's overwhelming if you look that far.
Right, but it slowly got closer and closer and closer. And, as you mentioned it, now you learn so much more. So for me, instead of eating the entire frozen pizza, why don't you just have a couple of slices? Do you have to eat the whole thing? But for me, it was the impulse or the compulsive massive meal and then sleep. I've never been a breakfast person. But then suddenly I'm doing this Profile shake every morning. And then now when I wake up, if I don't have the shake, I need the apps. I might get the shakes because I haven't drank the shake. And then getting used to, now it's smaller meals spaced out throughout the day. Understanding the importance of just forcing yourself to freaking move once in a while. And that doesn't happen immediately, but you get there. And so, finding these small victories and working with the people at Profile over an extended period of time for me is what helped me get to that 50-pound mark. And
are you now running around with your 5-year-old twins?
Well, I can actually keep up with them now.
Yay.
And I don't get winded when we kick the soccer ball around outside or I got to go chase down something they threw into the street. And so it's a completely different scenario now than it was last summer at this time.
You're a whole different dad. Think about that.
And
you're a whole different dad.
And that's the thing for me is I've never been a person that was subconscious or self-conscious, about what I looked like. Or I don't care about those things. I just truly don't.
I can tell.
Okay. But in the same sense, the importance of being healthy for my kids, like I've kind of transitioned out of looking inwardly and looking at those around me, with more care and love and with these 2 girls in my life. So, being healthy and active with them is because they're only going to want more. They're only going to want to do more. And I'm only going to want to be more active and be a bigger part of that. So, this was a way for me to do it. And, the cool thing now and, working with them during this weird quarantine period is that connectivity, I think, it's a word I use a lot when I mention them, because the Profile by Sanford, they've worked really hard to stay connected during this time.
Sure.
And it's become virtual, and we've had to become accustomed to that very quickly. But their ability to kind of help you execute on those things while being at a socially distant range, I think has been fantastic. So it's been a success story for me, and I know, whether it's Paul Fletcher at Cities 97 hitting milestones, you're having a huge success with it. It's just it's been an absolute blast doing it. And as you mentioned, this isn't something you found yourself at any point going, God, I wish it would just stop. I wish I could just do. No, you as your body relearns, you relearn. It changes your perspective. Yeah. It's been really positive.
And I just feel like I felt so much better.
Absolutely,
that I felt better being healthy than the satisfaction of having the pizza.
Yeah,
the whole pizza.
Well, and those foods still taste good. They taste good for a reason.
Yeah, and we still have them.
Absolutely, you can have those things, and your body decides when enough is enough, and you're better at listening to that. And that's what it has been for me. Now, you mentioned your husband being super supportive.
Yeah.
My wife's just happy that I stopped snoring. I mean, that's it.
Did you really stop snoring?
I stopped snoring.
That's huge.
It is. Yeah. So I sleep like a baby now.
Beautiful.
Well, and so just think about all those other intrinsic benefits or inherited benefits that go along with losing a few lbs.
A few, or 50.
Yeah.
The thing that has made the biggest difference for me, and I'll just kind of make this as my final point, is convenience, because I am, when I'm working, on the go a lot, and I am just a really low maintenance person. And I feel like I will use Profile shakes and bars as long as they are still available for the rest of my life. It doesn't mean I'm on their plan. It doesn't mean I'm on a diet. It just means that I have a shaker and I can grab a powdered packet. It takes up almost zero space, and I will grab that. I have 2 in my bag right now because I knew I was coming here for the day. What am I going to eat? There's no restaurant in this building. I have 2 bars and 2 shakes, and I will take those. I have them in my car, in my purse, because at any moment I can have a snack, and I don't have to go, oh, shoot, should I have these peanuts? Should I have this trail mix? I got a candy bar? Do I have Cheez-Its, crackers, whatever? This is my go-to.
Yeah.
And to have that and the convenience of it, knowing that it's good for me, it's sustenance, it gets me over, it buys me a couple hours, that for me, in my life of convenience, is huge.
Absolutely. And I'll just echo that as we wrap up. Episode 1, Profiles in Health and Wellness, is, these sound like such simple things that we're talking about, but they're so important and vital to that process. Mm-hmm. Again, making it a long-term thing. I mean, there's a lot of like crash diets and things out there. Hey, eat nothing for 3 weeks and you'll lose some weight. And that sounds awful and possibly detrimental in a health perspective in other ways. But with this, it's the recalibrating and all of those things. And for me, I have in the center console of my vehicle, I have a couple of their bars and things as well, because that keeps me from going through the drive-thru.
There you go.
Because I'm on the go. I don't think about things except for the next appointment, getting home, got something going on with the kids, got to be to work. The host of my radio shows badgering me about something, managing the mood swings becomes a thing again. I'm thinking about those things, and then suddenly, oh man, I'm really hungry right now. No drive-through. Center console opens up.
Boom.
Bar in face.
There it is.
And we're back to good again.
There we go.
Absolutely.
They make it easy.
So we're going to do this
helpful.
on a regular basis then.
Yeah, I look forward to it. It's nice to be able to just chat and learn and share. And that's what we're doing, and we will continue to do. Profiles in Health and Wellness is the name of the podcast. I'm Marney Gellner. That is Eric Nordquist. Together we are Nordo and Marno. And
we'll work on that.
We'll workshop it.
It's not firm yet.
Take suggestions. But we'll be here on this journey. You'll meet other clients, customers, people who have really succeeded. We're going to talk about different parts of the program and just kind of explore this wonderful world of Profile by Sanford. Thanks for joining us today on episode number 1, Profiles in Health and Wellness.